Hello, everyone, and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time to Stretch and Flow. Today, we're focused on relieving back pains. We're going to do some mobility for your hips and back because really your hip musculature is going to help to relieve some of that back pain. So, we want to make sure that we're functioning optimally. So, we're going to begin in a standing position. If you have like basically a chair about this height or a tabletop, we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to place our hands just at a comfortable shoulder width with our palms down. And what we're going to do is step back. And then as far as your stance, you can have them as wide as you need to, basically at just a comfortable width. And then what we're going to do is press our hips back. Okay. And then from here, we're actually going to extend at the hip, meaning we're coming more upright, sort of like an up dog. Now, if you have wheels, you can take advantage of that by wheeling a chair into you and then pushing it back out. But if you don't, you'll simply bring your body closer to your hands as you come upright. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my floor fan just in case it's blowing in your ear. So what we're gonna do from here is switch between these two positions, extending, and then we're pressing our hips back. So notice how we're keeping our arms lengthened. We're gonna try to keep our head neutral, meaning it's just going to follow the alignment of our torso. And I want you to think about lengthening. So lengthen up through your spine, and then the same thing as you go back. Press your hips back, lengthen, really decompress. Okay, so we're gonna hit some hip rotations from this position. Actually gonna use a lower chair here. Nice to have just different options. So we're gonna lift our foot off the floor, bend the knee, and what we're doing here is we're gonna swing over to one side and then swing it back. So I'll show you a front view. So your foot is behind your knee, and then we're doing this hip rotation. We're just gonna hold it for a little pause. So just find the position where you can have your foot in the air, holding on. And then let's go ahead and switch legs. So we're gonna lift the foot up. So we rotate and rotate. I'm gonna move this way to get that hip rotation. So you want to feel that rotation starting at the top of your thigh, continuing down to your knee, which stays bent. So your lower leg is just going along for the ride. Okay, and then from here, we're going to stay on our feet. We're going to do a rotation. So one hand on or one arm resting down. Open up to one side. We're gonna reach up, try to hold that for a short pause, maybe a few seconds, and then come back down and we rotate up to the other side. So I like to have forearm resting down low, again, a tabletop or chair. Okay, and then even without some furniture, you can also do it hand on knee, open out to one side, bend your knee slightly, and rotate over to the other side. Inhale. Exhale as you come back. All right, hitting the favorite up next, figure four, seated. So we're gonna start by crossing our leg, try to get that knee out. So we're really focused on hip, pelvis, glute musculature. And then we're gonna pivot forward, and remember, we're not rounding the spine forward, rather we're folding forward at the hip. So if it helps, place your hands here, sit up tall, and then think about folding forward. Just create that angle, keeping your back tall even as you lean forward. And then right away, you should feel this back there, outer hip and glute. Head is still neutral. And then we're actually gonna hold this for a static stretch. So just hold that folded forward position. So you'll know you're doing it correctly when you're able to feel it right away without having to bend forward too far. All right, and if it helps, you can rock back to the upright position, get right back into it. You might find you can sit a little deeper. Not that you have to, but just play with how much range of motion you have available to you today. And then we'll switch, cross the leg. All right, and again, sit up tall, folding forward at the hip, keeping that figure 4 position. And either holding it there or rocking back and then coming back into it. Okay, these are stretches you can do every day. Maybe just fit one in when you can. When you find yourself needing something to do. Okay. All right, we're gonna continue this figure 4 position, switching back to the first side, but this time we're gonna do a side lean. So what I'd like you to do, once you're in this position, hands are in front or just across. Okay, we're gonna lean over to one side, and we're just gonna try to feel if we can get a stretch. Like when we lean over to this side, you can probably feel it down here all the way to your hip. And hold it there or come back to the middle and then return. This one feels good actually. All right. Okay, so switch legs. So now that we found that position, I'm going over this way, but if you want to just try to feel, if you feel a good stretch here, you can start there. But just get it to where we're leaning over to both sides, holding that stretch. And then even though we're, side bending, want to maintain that tall spine position, make a long spine. So that helps to decompress your discs, spinal discs, which are like shock absorbers between the bones. Okay, same, so we're staying in a seated position. We're going into basically a seated cobra, meaning we're trying to get a big back extension. So you can have your arms down like this if the chair has arms. You can just rest your forearms down. So notice how we're trying to push our chest up and forward, arch our back, chin is up slightly. And then either hold it here, and we're gonna switch and alternate between this and a seated child's pose. So 2 ways you can do the child's pose. Either hands on knees and just slide your hands forward to your kneecaps as you round your back. Okay, I brought in my lower chair just to take advantage of the fact that we can basically lean forward, almost like you're gonna fall asleep on your desk, basically, and then think about rounding your back. So that's the goal. We're trying to open our back top to bottom, side to side, really get that open wingspan. And then we'll do one more extension. So that seated cobra, you can do it here. You can also do hands down behind you. Just be very careful, making sure you have enough shoulder range of motion to do this, and just kind of pushing your arm straight down behind you, just slightly behind you. And then we're gonna round forward into that child's pose again, either sliding your hands forward onto your knees, rounding your back, tucking your chin down and in. You can also reach forward if you have somewhere to put your arms onto. Chin is tucked, back is rounded. All right. And then we're slowly gonna push ourselves off, and then we're gonna finish in a standing position, coming back to that tabletop pose, which is where we had our arms straight, hips back. But this time, what I'd like you to try is to bring both arms to one side. So I'm really gonna exaggerate it just to give you an idea that we're going diagonal. We're getting that side lean. And then ideally you wanna bring your head parallel with your arms. So try to get your head neutral. Just looking up to check on you. And then we're gonna finish over to the other side and holding it. So your hips and your hands are pulling in opposite directions. Legs are semi-straight. Just get into a position where you can hold and stabilize. Woo, there go the cracks. And then maybe finish one more to the center. Slowly come up And that is it for today. Great back relief, and I will see you again on Thursday. Bye, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Natalia. Bye, Susie. Yeah, I agree. Feels great. Bye, Deborah. Yes, good stretch. I'm glad. Bye, Stefano.